The cat was looking at the figure. The figure was looking at the cat. Neither of them moved. The alley was still quiet. The man on the scooter was gone. The child with the earphones was gone. What remained was the alley, the cat, and the figure. The figure spoke first. "You can actually see me, is that right?" The cat didn't answer. "And you can hear my voice too?" Still nothing. The cat's tail moved once, slowly, as if the questions themselves were an inconvenience. The figure watched that tail, and in that small movement, something rose inside it. A sensation it hadn't felt in a long time. The feeling of sharing a space with another living thing. The fact that it was a cat was the problem.
Hey, why did you laugh at me?
The figure lost its words for a moment.
Just now, you went pfft.
That was... Am I funny to you? The cat's eyes narrowed. It was thinking about what had just happened. The way it had thrown itself into the middle of the alley with everything it had. The sound it had made, loud enough to fill the whole street. And then both of them had simply walked away. No thank you, not even a glance. This figure had watched all of that and laughed. No, it wasn't like that. It's fine. I can see you. I can hear you. That's your answer. The figure went quiet for a moment. It looked at the cat. The longer it looked, the stranger it became. A cat that could talk. Not just any cat, a cat that could actually talk. Clearly, naturally, without any hesitation. The first being in this entire world to notice it existed, and it was a cat. But that wasn't what mattered right now. This moment mattered. This chance mattered. "Hey, listen," the figure said carefully. "What do I look like to you?"
Why should I tell you that?
I don't know what I am right now. I don't know how I ended up like this. No one can see me. No one can hear me. I'm just here. And I'm not even sure I'm really here at all. Its voice wavered slightly. But you can see me. So I thought, if I knew what I looked like to you, maybe it would be some kind of clue. The cat lifted its right front paw and rested it lightly under its chin. It might have been thinking. It might have just been bored. Its expression was unreadable. It stayed that way for a long moment, eyes fixed on the figure. The figure waited. A brief silence settled over the alley. The figure looked at the cat. The figure thought, what is happening right now? All it wanted was to know who it was, why it was like this, what it was supposed to do. And the answer to all of that was collect thank yous from people? 100 of them? Was the cat playing games with it? Or did this cat actually know something? Was it possible it was only pretending to know? Is there anything you can just tell me right now? The figure's voice dropped. I'm asking because I can't stand not knowing. The cat studied the figure. There was something measuring in its eyes. Then it smiled, or something like a smile, though the figure wasn't entirely sure cats could do that.
If your situation is that unbearable,
the cat said, fly up and look around. See what this neighborhood looks like from above. The figure looked at the cat. How exactly am I supposed to fly? Just do it. You can. That's all you need to know. Silence returned to the alley. The figure looked at the cat. The cat looked at the figure. Neither looked away. I don't know if you find this entertaining, the figure said. Whatever you know or don't know, telling me to fly out of nowhere, telling me to collect 100 thank yous. What are you exactly? Is that right? Then figure it out yourself. Goodbye. The cat began running toward the wide street that opened out from the alley toward the commercial district. Not fast, but moving away with certainty, without looking back once. The figure stood where it was and stared at the place the cat had disappeared into. It stayed like that for a while. The feeling of feet not quite touching the ground was still there. The alley was still there. The air, the silence, all of it still there. Nothing had changed. A cat had appeared, and then a cat had gone. But the cat had seen it. It had been able to hear the figure's voice, and it was the only thing in this world that had recognized the figure existed. It had run off after saying something absurd, but the truth was, in this situation, that was enough, worth trying at least. The figure held the thought firmly. Catch up to it, faster than it, flying. The first thing that came was the feeling of how ridiculous this was. Then came the thought. There was nothing left to lose anyway. Things were already strange enough. If there was a world with a talking cat in it, there was no rule that said it couldn't fly. Let's go. The moment it moved, as if pushing off from the ground, something changed. The sensation of air rushing past, the ground falling away. 1 floor, 2, 3. It lifted low, and then suddenly picked up speed. It was flying. It didn't seem real, but it was flying. The wide street below, the cat still running. The figure pushed faster and caught up in an instant. Too fast. It happened in a breath. Hey, the figure came down alongside the cat. The cat stopped mid-stride. It looked up slowly and said, "Go straight up from there." "What?" "See what this neighborhood looks like to you. Take it all in." The figure looked down at the cat. The cat looked up at the figure. Its expression, as always, gave nothing away. The figure raised its head. The sky was there. It went up. At first, it was fast. Buildings shrank. Alleyways thinned to threads. Soso Mountain Road spread out below, like something unfolded. Signs were visible, intersections. The alleyways the figure had wandered through alone, all of it in view at once. But the higher it climbed, the slower it went. At first, it was barely noticeable, a heaviness starting at the feet. The air felt different. Something was pressing. Not breath, not quite that, but a sensation of being blocked. A weight spreading from somewhere in the chest outward through the whole body. Nausea rose. The figure pushed through it and looked up, then down. Soso Mountain Road. Seen from above, the neighborhood was round. Thin alleyways tangled and spread in every direction. Small intersections dotted between them like pins in a map. The street signs weren't visible from here, but the figure knew they were there. All of it contained inside one circular boundary, clear and sharp, as if this were the only place left in the world. Beyond that boundary, not smoke, not darkness, something that had no name. Colors layered and bleeding into each other, formless, shapeless, wrapped around the neighborhood without a single dap. The figure had seen this before, at the far end of an alley, the thing that had stopped it from going further. It wasn't only there, it was everywhere, above, beside, in every direction, pressing in around Soso Mountain Road from all sides without a single opening. The figure stared at it, and then the body began to give way. The weight multiplied. Something pressed down from head to foot all at once. Nausea hit like a wave. Balance collapsed. It tried to hold on. It couldn't. Down. Fast. Buildings grew back. The alley sharpened into focus. Walls, power lines, asphalt rushing up. The faster it fell, the heavier everything became. The senses blurred. There was no stopping it. Those colors, still there, still bleeding at the edges of his vision. The figure watched them and lost consciousness. End of episode 2.